among the supporters. Not a dry eye in the house sometimes here. Vinny Paz, 5'7". He'll have to overcome the height disadvantage. He's 9 years older than Pudwill, has that knockout record, and of course, awesome experience in title fights to his edge. 10-point must system, the mandatory 8 count after the knockdowns. There is no standing 8, no 3 knockdown rule, and a boxer cannot be saved by the bell at all here in this emotional farewell bout.
Won a world title in 4 weight divisions. He twice battled and brawled with Vinny Paz, and now is in his corner tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the legendary Roberto Duran!
Roberto Duran, a lot of tears in the corner of Vinny Pazienza. Kevin Rooney is crying. I see Jimmy Birchfield over there, tears in his eyes. Very emotional moment. Let's see how Paz deals with it. Let's get this one started with Joey Birchfield.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for your J&M Limousine main event of the evening. This historic final battle is in the Hall of Famer career of 5-time world champion Vinny Paz. This fight is sponsored by J&M Limousine. This event is being brought to you by Jimmy Birchfield's Classic Entertainment and Sports, putting the class in boxing. Tonight's events are under the looks of Mashitaga Pequot Tribal Athletic Commission. Your chairman is Mr. Peter Timothy. The positions ringside are Dr. Anthony Alessi and Dr. Joseph Carpentieri. Your timekeeper tonight is the lovable Lou Dell, and your matchmaker is Dr. TKO Ted Penanjatis. This bout is scheduled for 10 rounds in the super middleweight division. Your referee in charge of this matchup is Mr. Dick Flaherty. Your 3 judges scoring the bout ringside are George DeGabriel, Steve Epstein, and Glenn Feldman. First fighting out of the red corner and weighing in at 169 pounds. He wears the black and blue trunks and has an outstanding professional record of 39 wins, just 5 defeats, with 14 wins coming by the way of knockout. He is a former 2-time world title challenger, and tonight he is in search of his 40th professional victory. All the way from Bismarck, North Dakota, please welcome Tocker TNT Pudwill. And now fighting out of the blue corner, this fighter truly needs no introduction the world over. He also weighed in at 169 pounds, and tonight wears the red trunks. In his 20th year career, he has 69 professional contests with 12 world championship fights. He has 49 big wins, just 10 defeats, and 30 big wins coming by the way of knockout. Tonight he seeks his monumental 50th professional victory. He hails from Providence, Rhode Island. Please welcome the 5-time world champion and future Hall of Famer, one of boxing's most exciting and popular warriors, the Tasmanian Devil, Vinny Paz. Vinny Paz, 10 rounds, super middleweight division.
Now this is it.
To the center.
Vinny Paz for the final time, looking for win number 50.
Good, clean, professional bout, okay?
Vinny with just 1 first-round knockout in his career, but boy, he's fired up now, isn't he, Dave?
He certainly is. All the training, the crowd coming here, plus he knows what's at stake. He has to get it tonight. I mean, with the singing and everything, they didn't really give themselves an option on the downside for another shot at 50, so it has to be tonight. And quite an emotional moment. There's the embrace of Jimmy Birchfield, Kevin Rooney, Roberto Duran. Hey, we've all had expanded waistlines, and our hair color has changed over the last 20 years, and now here's Vinny Paz to do it one more time.
Who are you talking about?
The people in the corner.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about me. All right, we're set. Vinny Paz for the final time. Pudwill in the black and white. Vinny Paz, you know what he looks like. And this fight is underway. It's been a couple years since Paz has fought, but he's put 2 years into this one, and he said he was looking for the right opponent. Didn't want to just have any opponent, Mickey. He wanted a tough guy in there.
Well, he does have a tough guy with Tocker Pudwill. A very experienced guy, a tough guy.
Pudwill, obviously the taller of the two. Pudwill comes in here relatively unknown, but last time out was a title shot. December of 2002 against Joe Calzaghe, and he lost that one by a second-round knockout. He challenged for a title twice. Sven Aki beat him back in 2000.
And Sven Aki, according to Jimmy Birchfield, retired tonight, and that will open up some possible title fights for Scotty Pemberton in his stable. So that's a news development. And here in the ring, Vinny Paz is looking to create some openings. He's starting to try to fire the jab in there and to find his bearings based on where his jab takes him.
Good leaping left hand by Vinny Paz. Good head movement by Paz. Now, one thing you have to watch with Paz is the scar tissue, Mickey, and that would be a tragic way for this one to end on some kind of cut.
Right, that'd be a terrible way to end it. And Vinny, he did cut very easy earlier in his career and later in his career, for that matter. But hopefully, he just keeps his head moving and doesn't get hit.
And it looks like he's in fantastic shape.
Well, the other thing to consider, too, when you talk about the head movement, you always have to wonder about those heads coming together because of the wild head movement as Vinny Paz looks for leverage on the inside. And maybe because of that, Mick, if an opportunity came for him to end this quickly, I think he'd go for it.
Right, exactly. He would, without a doubt. Vinny, he jumps in a lot, too, so there's another thing you can bang heads with him, too.
Pudwill's got a little mouse under his right eye, probably from that left hand early from Vinny Paz. And, you know, Pudwill comes in here getting no respect, Mickey, and I don't know if you can relate to that because you're a guy that's so well respected. It's got to give him some added motivation, though.
Right, that's the way he has to fight. He can't fight. He's got to show that he's here for business and here to win.
The other thing about that, for Pudwill's advantage, it puts no pressure on him. Whatever he does here is a plus because he's been the afterthought, and sometimes guys are comfortable with that there's no pressure on them and that nobody knows about them so they can sneak up on their opponent.
Right, that's true. When the crowd ain't behind you, when the crowd's against you, sometimes you'll tend to fight better because there's no pressure.
Pudwill's jab beginning to cause Vinny a little problem. He's trying to work behind a jab himself. Paz keeps moving forward. That's the only way he fights. Round one comes to a close. Vinny Paz so fired up, so wired up. Let's listen into the corner of Vinny Paz.
Well, they're talking about the jab. Kevin Rooney wants him to do more of that. The hook, and then get the jab to set that up. Move the head, go to the body, go upstairs. Pudwill is countering. That's his game.
Keep it going. Keep it tight and relaxed.
Mickey, I would think that that's a good start for Pudwill because he really didn't get tagged too bad in that first round.
Right, he did. He kept his distance good. He worked his jab. That's what he has to do to keep Vinny off him.
Heard Kevin Rooney in the corner of Paz asking for the jab followed by the right hand. Pudwill spitting some blood out on the canvas there, so the jab from Paz maybe has already found the mark in his mouth.
Paz comes in with the world-class credentials in terms of his opponents and knowing how to behave in fights, and will show some power that Pudwill hasn't seen in other opponents, but he'll bring something to the table too. And right now, that's the right-hand counter because Vinny is open for that, and Pudwill is finding a way to counter to the body and to the head. But the interesting thing is, counter-punchers have difficulty getting decisions.
Vinny Paz talking to Pudwill as they look at each other, looking to make a move offensively. Pudwill's jab coming up way short, so both men right now looking for the opening after a first round that saw plenty of action. The counter right hand by Pudwill that time. And he complains, Paz complains about it being in the back of his head.
Yeah, that little exchange was this fight in microcosm right now. Vinny Paz on the attack, missing in that regard, and Pudwill able to counter, and he was able to land a clean shot. And right now, that is the strategic dynamic of this bout.
Combination by Pudwill, blocked nicely by Vinny Paz.
I think that was good.
Paz might have a cut. Paz might have a cut on his left eyebrow. Looks a little red. Can't tell from this angle. But knowing his history, have to take a look at the left eyebrow of Vinny Paz. As Pudwill with the jab pushes Vinny up against the ropes. Vinny Paz pulling Pudwill down. It's a little tiny cut right on the corner of Vinny Paz's left eye.
And you look at how he attacks now with the hands down, and Vinny Paz is willing to take whatever he must in order to come in and try and score. And Pudwill is taking advantage of that by scoring with the jab, and we're seeing Pudwill starting to lead a little bit now.
Yeah, there is a cut right there on the corner of the eyebrow, the left eyebrow of Vinny Paz. We'll have to keep our eye on that as this fight wears on. It's scheduled for 10 rounds. Round 2 coming to a close. Farewell fight for Vinny Paz. Back with round 3 in a moment. Irish Mickey Ward and Ron Borges. And tight fight after 2 rounds, aren't they?
It certainly is. I'd give a round to each of them. And the interesting element of this fight from a conditioning standpoint is, remember, neither fighter was in action in 2003. So stamina has to be a factor somewhere along the line in this bout.
Now, I guess, Mickey, the conventional wisdom would be that Pudwill would have a hard time winning the decision here. What does he have to do to possibly get the judges on his side right here in Vinny's backyard?
Well, I think right now he's fighting very good. He's using his jab. He's fighting he's very composed right now, and he's keeping his composure. He's not getting caught up in the hype and all the craziness. He's fighting a very tactical, smart fight.
Paz sticking his tongue out at Pudwill, who is not bought into the hype. Pudwill fighting within himself, Dave.
He's able to counter. He's waiting for Vinny Paz to come at him, and what happens is, to him, Paz may be predictable because he's firing the shots, he's lunging, and Pudwill is shuffling over and is content to fire a right-hand counter. Now, what Paz will try to do is, we see the counter right there, and then Vinny Paz says, yeah, it landed, let's see what else you can do. And now Paz gets Pudwill to come to him, and he wants this to be a brawl. Pudwill wants it to be a controlled clinic.
Paz continues to talk to Pudwill, trying to draw him in. Pudwill not buying it. Neither man punching.
Now, Pudwill wanted Vinny to leap off the ropes and create an opening. And when he does that, Pudwill is trying to bury a right hand to the ribs. These guys both have an excellent offensive approach to this bout.
Cut eye not a factor for Vinny Paz as Pudwill misses.
And Vinny Paz threw that last right hand from Cranston. Came up a little short.
Right,
but he really fired from a long distance.
He did, and he has to, like Kevin Williams was saying earlier, he has to work behind that jab. He's got to work that jab.
Pudwill fires the jab of his own. Half a minute to go in round 3.
There's only been once where Vinny Paz operated almost exclusively behind his jab, and it was the easiest big fight of his life, the 3rd battle against Greg Haugen. But he prefers the warrior motif.
Oh, Pudwill rocks Vinny Paz with a right hand.
And then he threw him a little bit, too. He tried to rough him up.
Paz bleeding from the nose, leaps in with a left hand that scores. Pudwill ducks away. Things breaking down at the end of round 3. A lot of intensity as blood pours from the nose of Vinny Paz. Pudwill mocking him, and bad blood brewing here in Foxwoods. Ron Borges standing by with one of the stablemates of Vinny Paz, Scotty Pemberton. Ron.
Well, Larry, we got Scott Pemberton here, who's just issued a $500,000 challenge to the WBC super middleweight champion Marcus Beyer over in Germany. You think there's any chance he's going to accept your challenge?
Well, what I know of the German fighters, they don't leave Germany to fight. You know, if he's a true man and a true champion, he'll give me my opportunity to come over here and fight me.
What you've seen so far, Scotty, what do you think about Vinny in this situation? He's been off for a long time. He looked like he had a little trouble in that last round. What would you be telling him if you were in his corner?
I would just try to tell him to keep busy and try to get in the guy's head, like, what he's famous for, and, he's got to throw punches. That's what he really needs to do, and keep his head moving.
Great. Thanks, Scotty. Back to you, Larry.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. Pazienza, you can see him right there all lathered up. This is a tight fight. Paz putting a lot of pressure on himself, saying it's his final fight for 50, didn't he, Mickey?
Right, he didn't. He fought a guy that wants to win, too. He fought a guy not to stand there. This guy's here to win.
He gets a sense that he had to charge himself up by making the odds high. And that's what was going to drive him into the gym and try to train properly for this. And the question is, after a couple years off, I mean, you may think you're in great condition, but that's an intangible. It really is. What condition can you be at age 41? It's not easy to be in the shape that you like. And Vinny Paz would like to throw the judges and tell them to go home and have this fight totally to the end.
Well, maybe fittingly, Vinny Paz bleeding from the nose and a trickle from the eye as well. Pudwill doing a good job fighting from a distance and controlling the tempo of the fight.
Now that cut that Vinny Paz has is uglier than
Vinny
it is.
Paz has been busted open under the right eye now. That's a new fresh cut, and he's been split open right on that cheekbone under the right eye.
And we're saying it's uglier than it's really going to have an effect on him because it's not going into the eye. If that's above the eye, you have tremendous concern. Under the eye, it will just be ugly, but it won't stop his vision, and that's the key component there.
Oh, that's an ugly, ugly cut under his eye. There's a mouse growing there as well. Paz and Pudwill. Paz says, bring it, come on. And now the referee is going to stop the action for a moment. Take a look at the cut. They're going to address the cut.
And this is under the eye. They want to see how deep it is.
Dick Flaherty, the referee, getting the doctor up to the ring apron. And that cut is right on the cheekbone.
It's a little unusual to see a stoppage and a consultation for where that cut is. I mean, it's ugly, but it's under the eye.
Yeah, but it's pretty deep, Dave. It's an ugly cut and just blood pouring from it. Vinny Paz bleeding from the nose and the eye. Paz needs to turn up the heat on Pudwill here. Vicky, you've been in this position before. What do you think's going through Paz's mind right now?
Vinny's just fighting. Vinny's just fighting his fight how Vinny fights. Just fighting tough, and he's hurt now. He's not hurt, but he's cut, and he'll be back. He'll come back. Because like David said, the cut is under his eye. There's no blood going in his eye.
Well, really, it's a pretty even round. Other than the blood, Pudwill really has not done a whole lot in this round, and Paz staying right in his grill. Flaherty warning Pudwill for pushing the head of Paz down. And what would a Vinny Paz fight be without a lot of blood? Paz showing it all again tonight. A lot of heart. He said he wants to go out with blood, sweat, and tears. We saw the tears before the fight, and the rest we're seeing right now. Good shot by Paz as this round comes to a close. We'll be back with more from Paz's farewell fight in a moment. The corner of Vinny Paz done a good job on his eye. The doctor wants to take a look at it. Doctor taking a look at that cut on the cheek of Vinny Paz. Paz is shocked. He says, you got to be kidding me. I've cut myself worth shaving.
Yeah, keep an eye on it. Yeah, you keep an eye on it, but don't make me have to be urgent. Now, will that change how Vinny Paz fights? Knowing the doctors are looking at that cut, he may gamble now. He may get desperate, and maybe that's a good thing for him to try to open it up and not trust what could happen administratively. But that's not a cut that can stop this bout because of where it is. It might be a little deep, but it's not in a critical spot.
I think that's the doctor's point. It's a deep gash, and it looks like it's growing a little bit. Mickey, what does Vinny have to do here?
I think Vinny has he's jumping in with that left hook, and he's getting countered with the right hand. He has to work his way in with that jab and bang when he's in. Let it go.
Pudwill bleeding from the nose as well. So the blood from Pazienza, much more dramatic.
Vinny Paz, to win this fight, will have to assert his pedigree. Remember the world-class opponents he's done well against, and he's just going to have to dig down, suck up, and find something here, because stylistically, he's fighting the way Pudwill wants this bout, and he has to come up with one intangible that has marked his career, whether it's the big shot or the flurry or some power.
Now Paz is talking to Pudwill, trying to get inside his head, but Pudwill somehow is not allowing it to happen.
Right. Pudwill's popping that jab out. He's fighting a very smart fight. Then he's following him around. Pudwill's fighting very smart.
I think with the talking, Vinny Paz is trying to coach himself up another level. He wants to get himself fired up even more, and the talking helps that.
Boy, Paz's face is a mask of blood right now from that cut cheek. There's a leaping left hand by Paz. I really have no clue as what the scorecards might read right now, Dave.
Yeah, Larry, it's going to be extremely interesting because this is a partisan scoring opportunity here, and this is Vinny Paz's backyard, and you have to figure that's worth at least a couple points before this is over. Pudwill knew that coming in, and he has to be extremely one-sided to get this. And Vinny Paz is tired. We heard some reports that he wasn't in the best shape. That's always something that will manifest itself in the ring. Remember, he's 41.
Pudwill's getting a little tired as well, so I think conditioning might be a factor, but that is an ugly open cut on the cheek. I know it's not in a place that would cause blood to flow in his eye, but it is a gaping wound on the face of Vinny Paz.
And maybe the fact that he announced his retirement beforehand will help him in that regard. They won't be worried about a fight tomorrow. They may let him fight on.
Paz bringing the heat here as this round comes to a close. Back in a moment. Face of Vinny Paz to get him set here for round 6. We've reached the midway point in this fight. The doctor is on the ring apron right now trying to get the referee's attention, but there's no stopping this one right now.
I think Vinny Paz is going to step it up and gamble real soon. He fired a left hook at the end of that round that just missed, and now he's going to try to get that level up. I sense that Vinny Paz is going to be on a different path from here on in.
Doctor talking to the corner of Paz. Paz doing some good work on the inside. Pudwill waving him in. Roberto Duran told Paz between rounds that Pudwill was finished. He had nothing left to bring it. See if Vinny can.
Now he let Pudwill bring it, and he tried to counter. Interesting philosophy. Look where Vinny's hands are as he's trying to coach Pudwill into a slugfest, and then he lands his hook.
Pudwill scoring with that jab. Paz with his hands down. Trying to draw him in. Good body shot by Paz.
And he is really scoring with the body, and this is probably, for Vinny Paz, the best offensive round he's had in terms of the intensity of his offense. And then now he's starting to bother Pudwill, and he is starting to look like the guy that has the class edge in this bout.
Mickey, you kind of feel that the tide might be turning here?
Well, I think so. Vinny's put a lot of pressure on now. He's throwing good punches to the body and come back after the head. Going to that body earlier on is going to open that up for later on.
See, Pudwill's trying to guard his midsection here, and Paz ducks the shots. Hopefully the cut on Paz does not cause a premature end to this fight.
I just don't think they will do that here. If it was in another location, that would be a huge consideration. Here, even though the doctors are up, I think they'll keep trying to talk the doctor out of it, and they may succeed over the 4 rounds. The interesting thing here is that Paz is not getting those same counter shots he was getting by Pudwill earlier. You know they're going to lobby these doctors based on the next 4 rounds. They really
that
will.
is just a hideous cut, though. It's on his cheek, but it is deep and it is long. It is ugly. Pudwill talking to Paz. Paz talking back. Really worked itself into a great fight. Pudwill tags Paz on the way in. Not hurting Paz, but stopping his aggression.
But the counter shots that really were telling by Pudwill have been absent this round more so than others, and that's because of the power that Paz was able to score with to the body and up to the head. And now this bout is starting to look like it was supposed to on paper, blood and all.
Closing seconds of round 6, and Paz tags Pudwill with a right hand. And a shot at the end after the bell.
And
Pudwill's okay.
That was pretty blatant.
Ron Borges standing by ringside. Ron, take it away.
Well, Larry, you know what Pudwill's starting to find out is just about the time Vinny Paz looks like he needs a transfusion, you're in danger of getting some contusions. I mean, this is what Vinny Pazienza's entire boxing life has been about. Bleeding, looking like it's all over, and suddenly coming back and rallying. He's not getting hit with those same counters he was earlier, and now he's starting to do some damage. Now, the question of how bad the cut is going to be and whether that's going to cause the referee to step in, we don't know. But right now, Tucker Pudwill's in more trouble than Vinny Pazienza.
I would agree with Ron that Pudwill's looking like he's low on fuel. Dave?
And this is one reason why, as Paz fires the left hook, he was landing some good body shots. Here it's Pudwill trying to get off first, and Paz waits for him, and they had the chest match, and then Paz starts to swarm. This is what he will have to do. Swarm and smother and let the blood flow. He doesn't care.
Paz, I should say, says to Pudwill, I ain't going nowhere. That's what he told him as they got off the stool. And that is just an ugly cut. But as Ron said, I'd agree. I mean, this is a fitting way for Vinny to close his career.
I've been making the point all along. I don't think they're going to stop it here based on that. Because of where we are and the stakes of the bout and the type of boxer Vinny Paz has been, I think they'll fear a riot if they stop it for that, especially now.
Oh, a great body shot by Paz. And Pudwill takes a knee. Where did that punch come from? Crowd standing. And Pudwill is in some trouble by that body shot, Mickey.
Yes, he had foul with good body shot, but he hit that right hand. He a little bit lazy, and the right hand caught him good.
Another body shot by Vinny.
And here is where Paz is asserting his pedigree, the edge in competition, the world-class angle, and the idea of trying to swarm and just blow your opponent by. Pudwill is in the middle of an avalanche right now.
Paz continues to press forward. Pudwill has recovered. That's a big knockdown, though, in a very close fight.
In a fight that is slipping away from Pudwill minute by minute anyway.
Pudwill in retreat. Scores with the left, as Vinny does. Pazienza buries one to the midsection. Overhand left by Paz.
And Pudwill has nothing left on his shots now, and Paz is swarming, and this is what he's all about.
He's walking through the punches of Pudwill, yelling at him. Good body shot again by Paz. Still over a minute to go. This is the round that Paz has been waiting for. Pudwill's body has just been hammered. Stiff jab by Paz. Another body shot. I think Pudwill's right rib area, Mickey, is very tender.
Right, it most definitely is, and he looks like he has nothing on his punches at all right now.
And Paz is cementing his warrior legacy, punch by punch and drop of blood by drop of blood.
Pudwill bleeding as well. Bloodbath here in the farewell for Paz. Leaping left hand again by Paz, finds the mark. Boy, Pudwill looks beaten right now. Paz continues to move forward. What reserve is he drawing on right here?
Well, he's basing on the crowd is up here. He's put Pudwill down, and he's basically flying right now. He found second wind and more.
Fighting on emotion. Great round for Vinny Paz. And look at Pudwill. And he is a beaten man right now. Let's see how he recovers between rounds. Wow, what a round.
Well, here's where Paz finds another level. Remember the left hook at the end of the previous round? Now he is swarming. The big right hand scores big here, and then it leads to the knockdown. A little bit of a push down after he nailed a couple of shots. The right hand bomb, and then Pudwill coming in and has him tied up, and he's being hit and pushed down at the same time. Becomes a 10-8 round, but this is what was being foreshadowed at the end of the previous round, and right now these guys are on two different levels.
A lot of blood has been spilled here tonight.
Let's look at it. Hey, Doc! Doc! Come here.
He's already looked at it. The doctor being forced to look at it. This does not sit well with the crowd.
Told you a riot would break out if they stopped it for this, and they won't.
Pudwill scores with a body shot, then he takes a knee. I don't believe that's a knockdown. No, it is not. Flaherty, the ref, calls it a push. Mickey, what does a fighter draw from here? Does the crowd bring you some enthusiasm and some adrenaline?
Oh, it most definitely does. And this is the way Vinny fights. Vinny's the will he has, he doesn't stop, and he's taking a hot lab right now.
8th round scheduled for 10. Paz turned it around in round 7 with the knockdown. Very close fight up to that point.
And the power shots in round 6, which stopped the confidence of Pudwill, was the first step in this march for Paz. And now he's got this fight and this opponent exactly where he wants.
Paz says he expects to end up in the hospital after every fight. It's probably where he'll end up tonight, win or lose, to stitch up that cut. Down goes Pudwill. Pudwill goes down, and the referee says it was not a knockdown. But he looked wobbled, Mick.
He did. I think it's just being tired. His legs ain't sturdy underneath him.
Pazienza. Vinny Paz continues the assault. Continues to bore forward. Big right hand by Paz. And a left.
He's just relentless here. He's going to come in, figures that Pudwill has nothing for him in return, and he's going to bob, weave, shake, fake, and fire.
Well, this is the heart of a champion that we talked about in the open. The warrior mentality of Vinny Paz. Busted up early, somehow finding a reserve of energy to turn this fight in his favor.
And when you look back in your career years later and you're introduced at fights, people will remember how you fought and who you fought. Everything else goes out the window, and Vinny Paz has high marks in both those areas.
A lot of swelling around both of Vinny's eyes. Pudwill's nose bleeding since the 5th round. Both men showing some good energy here in the 8th round with just 6 minutes to go after this. Paz has gone the distance on many occasions, as has Pudwill, so I don't think making the distance is going to be a factor here. Pudwill in full retreat, however, over the last couple of rounds, and Paz laying it on him right now. A right hand scores. And Pudwill says no, but he's sitting on that bottom rope. If the rope hadn't been there, he would have fallen.
He was shoved down too, but he's tired.
Somehow Pudwill stands up, still continues to battle as Vinny Paz hammers away. Uppercut scores by Pudwill. Boy, this has been an action fight. End of 8. A reminder, the pride of Providence, NABA junior middleweight champ Peter Manfredo Jr., 20-0 with 10 KOs. Returns home to fight May 14th at the Rhode Island Convention Center, plus unbeaten Missy the Fury Fiorento, unbeaten KO Kid Spina, unbeaten, a battle of unbeatens, and other exciting fighters as well. Call CES for details, 401-724-2253. That's 401-724-2253.
Well, Vinny Paz does his best when he fights on emotion. And this is what we see in that regard in the last round. Just opening it up. Forget the technique. Just open up. Fire away with both hands. If you push your opponent down, so what? If he gets up, if it's a knockdown, so what? Just fire the punches and win the rounds. And that is what Vinny Paz is excelling at over these last 3 rounds.
Mickey, they've done a good job on that cut.
They have. The cut it opens up, and they've stopped it from bleeding bad. Vinny just, the pressure he puts on you is unbelievable. and able to, that's what gets you tired, and that's where you can't come back from.
Well, they can't stop the bleeding on that cut now. I mean, it's just as soon as he walks out of the corner, body shot puts Pudwill down again, and the referee says no knockdown. Yet he does. No, he does call it a knockdown. Pudwill can't believe it. He is a bloody mess as well. Body shot puts him down. Second knockdown in the fight. I think that knockdown should secure the judge's scorecard to this point.
Maybe academic anyway, the way Vinny Paz is swarming at him, and he won the last 3 rounds and has been pulling out in the last 3 rounds, just basically all over Pudwill, and able to step it up when he had to. There was a point in the middle of the fight, Mick, that he just basically went up a notch.
Right, exactly. That's Vinny Pazienza for you. He does not quit. He just keeps coming forward, and his will take your will away. That's what he's doing.
Paz continue to put the pressure on here in round 9. Pudwill has done very little since the 7th round on when he went down.
When Paz tried to fight by the textbook, he was getting hit with counters. When he just swarms his opponent, he's wearing him down and scoring heavily.
Paz again yelling at his opponent, Pudwill. Minute 20 to go in the 9th round. Fight is scheduled for 10. Good jab by Pudwill to try to keep Paz off him. Paz's pursuit is relentless.
Pudwill has put up a good show, but this really is Paz's night and Paz's stage in the second half of this fight. He has totally taken over the fight with his aggression, and if he catches counters, he doesn't care.
Good right hand there by Pudwill on the inside. And Paz continuing to try to fire, but looks like he's locking up a little bit here in round 9. He's put a lot of energy out to this point. Trying to bait Pudwill, who won't take the bait. The break here might be helping Paz, who scores with a left uppercut on the inside. Paz working the jab here in the 9th. Closing moments of the round. Left hook lands by Paz. A lot of blood under that right eye of Paz. 3 minutes to go in the career of Vinny Paz. History in the making, brought to you by Comcast, the home of great entertainment. CN8, the Comcast Network, Comcast Video on Demand, Comcast Digital, and Comcast. Comcast, people serving people.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final round. Let's hear it.
Corner of Vinny Paz, 3 minutes to go.
Well, it's nice to be coached by a legend, the famous Manos de Piedra, the hands of stone. Roberto Duran shouting encouragement, and you can tell by his looks that he's happy with what Vinny Paz is doing. And when Vinny Paz just went back to that swarming, relentless style, that is when he turned this bout in his favor. And on the scorecards, he's home free now.
Mickey, what do you expect out of Paz in the final round?
I expect nothing but fire and fury from Vinny this round. This is the last round of his career, and I expect nothing but what he's given you his whole career, and that is fire.
Anything short of that would be a disappointment. Paz test Pudwill, good job. And Pudwill has done a good job here tonight.
Pudwill was threatening to upstage everything after 4 rounds. His counter punching was sharp and it was on the mark, but toward the tail end of round 5, Paz threw that big left hook, and he got his confidence up and swarmed him in the second half, and it has been his bout ever since, with the blood flying everywhere.
On us as well.
That's why they say don't wear white to the fight.
Your shirt isn't white anymore, okay?
No, it isn't.
Big right hand by Paz scores as Pudwill wheels out of the corner. Clock winding down on the magnificent career of Vinny Paz. Turned pro in 1983, 21 years ago. Won his first title in 1987. Won his last title in 95. And he's hammering away to the final bell here tonight. a stoppage here to cap things off.
And the way he'll be remembered by the people who follow him is how they felt watching his fights, how many times they were up on his feet, whether he was winning fights or being countered and beaten by taller guys. Vinny Paz always brought everything he had and made exciting bouts, and this is a microcosm of the whole career.
Real fitting climax to his career. Here the final night, the final round, as we approach the final minute.
A lot of people are standing.
Pudwill battling back. But this is Paz's fight. Put Pudwill down 2 times in this fight so far. Oh boy, that right hand just whizzes by the whiskers of Pudwill. Then he wanted a tough opponent for his final fight, and he got one tonight, Mickey.
He sure did, and Vinny Pazienza will have it no other way than to fight a tough guy.
And you know, despite being off all of 2003, it was the second half of the bout when he could have been tired, in which Paz really prevailed. It looked like he shook off some ring rust maybe, and then came on.
He sure did, and he did what he had to do to win David. He fought like he always fights. He fights hard, a lot of heart.
Hey, Larry, I'm seeing Roberto Duran move around here better than he did against Leonard.
He's right above us right now.
He's all over the place.
Cheering Paz on with 25 seconds to go in his career. Paz wants that knockout, doesn't he? Big overhand right scores in a left. 10 seconds to go. He won't get the knockout, but he's got the fast standing. Fitting into a great career, Vinny Paz goes the distance with Pudwill. And there's sportsmanship right there. Duran knows that Paz might just have win 50 in his belt.
And you see that Pudwill not left in the tank. No stamina left. Paz didn't leave much on the table either. But, you know, the nice thing for him, the way he closed his career with 5 strong, one-sided rounds. That's the way you like to go out.
And Mickey, I seen you battle Gotti. You know, this one was just like that.
Yeah, Vinny, that's just the Vinny. Vinny fights like that. Like Dave said, the first 5 rounds, he was a little slow getting off, and after the second 5 rounds, non-stop.
Really got the momentum going after the cut, Dave.
After the cut, and after he fired a left hook, and Pudwill did nothing. He came out the next round, and he was a level better, and his power started to take over, and that's when he became Vinny Paz, which is the way he fights. Swarming, come right at you, forget everything else. He stopped trying to jab his way in. He just started to swarm, and that's when he did his best work.
I think you got to give Tucker Pudwill his due. Coming into Vinny's backyard, taking all that heat from Vinny Paz. That Pudwill lasted the distance, and I think he gets a lot of credit for that.
And was very much in this fight on the scorecards halfway through.
And we still have the decision to come. Anybody want to guess on that one?
Well, how big? 5, 6, 7?
Great performance by Vinny Paz, 41 years old. Man, I didn't know if he could bring it that strong for 10 rounds still. He could, Mickey.
He sure did. He showed it. That's the testimony of Vinny Paz, how tough he is and how hard he trains and how he wanted this fight.
Well, the cards are in the hands of Joey Birchfield. Let's see who won the farewell for Paz.
Fight fans, let's go straight to the scorecards. Judge Feldman scores it out 95-91. Judge DeGabriel scores it out 95-91. And Judge Epstein scores it out 96-93. Your winner with all that jazz, Vinny Paz!
The right decision, the knockdowns coming.
Yeah, 2 big knockdowns.
I think the protests by Pudwill ring hollow to me. He should know that he was knocked down twice in the fight, and he should give Vinny Paz his due.
The last 5 rounds, much different than the first 5. It was 2 separate bouts here.
One great fight.
So Paz gets his 50th win as a professional. Got what he came for. Now he can go home happy. Trophy presentation in the ring, capping off the career for Vinny Paz, who's making his way over to Ron Borges. Ron is ready. Paz is ready. Take it away, Ron.
Thanks, Larry. We got Vinny Pazienza, who certainly fought this fight the way he's fought his entire career. It was almost like it was 2 fights tonight, Vinny, the first 4 rounds and the rest of the fight.
Well, I mean, I'm glad my career ended this way in fucking Hale's blaze of glory. It was a tough kid, good fighter. I knew that coming in, and I want to see how much I had left. I'm glad that I pulled it out. Thank you, Rhode Island, all of you, from my heart. Thank you very much.
You know, when you got him in the knockdown, what were you looking for there, and what was the opening?
You know, see, Roberto Duran was in my corner. I beat Roberto twice, but no big deal because he was older. Just like me with this kid. 10 years ago, I would have went right through him, you know, like a ball of steam. But, you know, it's 10 years later, so, you know, you don't cry about it. It was a good, close fight. I'm glad we went out with a blaze of glory, and that's it. I want to thank everybody for giving me your heart and soul for all these years. It's been over 2 decades. I appreciate all of it, especially Rhode Island.
Well, I tell you, Larry, anybody who doesn't know what a warrior is, you watch this fight tonight, and there's a definition of a warrior right here, Vinny Pazienza. Back to you, Larry.
Never say die.
Great job by Paz. Thank you, Ron Borges. Great night tonight. Vinny Paz's farewell night. Closing comments real quick, Dave.
Well, Larry, I think that Vinny Paz had a fight that defined his career. He won it the way he wanted. The second half of the fight was his. The class showed, and he won despite the blood.
Mickey Ward, fantastic job. Thanks so much for joining us. It made a special night for us.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so for Mickey Ward and Dave Von Tempo, as well as Ron Borges, I'm Larry Michael. The finale for Vinny Pazienza ends the way it should have. Victorious, bloody, he takes home win number 50. It was history in the making. Thanks for watching tonight. Good night, everybody.
Just had a joy to work.